Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening. This is very exciting. This is our Masters Goalkeeping Special, brought to you by Hero Goalie Co. If you don't know about Hero Goalie Co., it's an up-and-coming goalkeeping brand, we're predominantly based in the south of England, but we have been getting all over the country, and this summer in particular, we're aiming to get all over. We've already been to Swansea and all over the place. So, yes, you can find us at herogoalie.com, but also Instagram at Hero Goalie. We are joined by some fantastic, very, very special people tonight. I'm really pleased to say that we've got Jerry McGuinness. Jerry, can you give us a bit of your background? I know you're a Scotland Masters goalkeeper and a bit of a goalkeeping oracle.
Yes, Jerry McGuinness, based in Glasgow. Coach at the Next Level Goalkeeping Academy, still playing hockey at West District level, and I've been playing Masters for the last 10 years. I'm now part of the Masters over 50s.
And you have got a pretty special medal in your collection.
I do actually, yes. You might actually see it up on the wall behind us. Gold medal from 2019 Rotterdam European Championships.
Wow, that's very special. And Paul Hatton. Paul, welcome.
Thank you. So
you can. This is a time where you can. It's not big-headed to say what you've done and where you've been, because it kind of explains all of our little journeys. So, Paul, big yourself up.
Okay, so I'm from Doncaster in South Yorkshire. History-wise, played a lot of North, a lot of National League. From a Masters point of view, I've been involved for the last 5 years. England 35s and England 40s. Won a few tournaments. So like Jerry, I've got a European gold from Rotterdam. I've also got a World Cup gold from Nottingham this year, just gone. And I've got a World Cup silver as well, 2018. Unfortunately, I don't play anymore. Injuries caught up with me a little bit early. But yeah, that's my...
You've got the full collection then, bronze, silver, gold, is that right?
No, 2 golds, 1 silver.
Two gold, or even better. That's great to have you, Paul. Welcome.
Thank you.
Amy.
Hello, I'm Amy. I'm based down in Swansea. I've played Wales over 35s and now I've gone into the 40s. And we won a bronze medal last year in the Worlds in Nottingham.
Fantastic. Amy, thanks for coming on and joining us. And last but not least, Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm based in Gloucester. I've been playing for the Wales 45s from last season. Predominantly, actually, I played outfield for Wales out in the World Cup. Started keeping last season for my club when the goalkeeper got injured, and it has rolled on. So I've kept all last season. I've kept this season, and I'm in the squad for the Wales 45s this season as a goalkeeper. So looking forward to that. Still trying to find out whether or not how many goalkeepers there are, international goalkeepers who have an international goal to their name as well. But I'm quite proud of that one. But enjoying being in goal just as much as playing up front.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for coming on tonight, and thank you for those people that are tuning in. You can already see we've got a lot of people on. So the whole idea of tonight is just have a look at a few things, really. Masters hockey in particular, that's a really big thing now. And I think Masters hockey it's gone to a whole new level in the last couple of years. Goalkeeper, it's always great to talk about goalkeeper when you've got goalkeepers together. So I do want to get into goalkeeping, and in particular, something I'm fascinated with is the role of the goalkeeper as the game changes and evolves year on year. I think the goalkeeper's job just slightly changed a little bit each season. Having a look at that, and then just finishing off with some questions from some of our listeners or viewers, I should say, and also having a very, very quick glimpse into what the hockey world looks like right now in goalkeeping. It's normally about now I get a message from a few people like Simon Mason saying hello and everything else, but they're not here yet. Guys, let's kick things off then. Masters hockey. Why do you guys think Masters hockey has gone nuts to become so big? The reason I say that, so I played 35s for England in goal just before I retired from playing. Loved it. I would say I went along to trials with a really relaxed casual festival type mindset, and I was slightly taken aback naively by the seriousness of it. But as an ex-National League player, I went there, knew a lot of people, really enjoyed the experience of being with people, like-minded people who took their hockey seriously. But yeah, let's go. I'll go to Jerry. Jerry, why has Masters hockey become such a big thing in actually quite a short space of time?
I think a lot of it nowadays is down to the organisation. I think when it first started out, it was a bit like summer hockey. The organisation really grew considerably very quickly, but also I think the standard of player that's playing Masters, even in the older sections, the standard's very, very high, and hence enjoyable. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
Oh, Jerry's jumping about a bit there. We
I'd
just lost
agree.
the end bit there, Jerry. We just stick with your reception. But,
Yeah, I think it's quite a competition now. The standard is very, very high. Whether it's goalkeepers, whether it's outfield players, and it makes it a lot more competitive and a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the standard of
Paul, what do you think what's the real thing that makes Masters hockey special? What's the appeal?
I think for some people, it's obviously everyone wants to play national when they're younger, so when they're juniors. And personally, I just missed out when I was younger. So I think it's the opportunity to get back into it, something that maybe you couldn't do when you were younger. The biggest appeal for me is it's competitive. Don't get me wrong. People that think you just turn up, have a run out. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it, months and months of work. But I think the friends for me. I know it sounds not to get away from it, it's not festival hockey, but it is enjoyable to meet plenty of people, to play against them, win, lose, whatever it be. I think you can continuously make new friends, and I've got friends from all over the world as part of it, and I'll still I'll still watch it even though I can't play now. And yeah, that for me is the biggest thing, just meeting people and meeting people with the same ethos.
Yeah. And Amy, with your Wales stuff, is it a very social thing? Is it play hard, party hard? Like, what's the general ethos with your team?
It's quite hard. It's not a party hard situation at all. When I started, I've not played at a high level. I don't play at a high club level. But actually, when I went to Masters to the trials, I didn't think I was going to get in. And then I was just amazed at the level that was there. And then I did get in. And I kept getting better at hockey. I didn't realize how much I didn't know about hockey until I got into Masters and was getting fully coached. And I was like, oh, right, okay, that's that rule. But it is a lot of fun. But the ethos is to work really hard and to train hard in the run up to it. And it's not a mess about. But I came into the first cycle of the 35s, Wales 35s. So it was a lot tougher and a lot harder. We haven't been around for much, but we've gotten there now.
Fantastic. And Nick, what's your feeling on it?
I think it's just fantastic to see so many people involved in it. I got involved in it because I went to watch my father play because he plays for the 75s. We weren't, at no point did we think that I was eligible, but the 75s were playing the 70s in the training game. 75s were short a couple of players, so they asked, can you play for a half? So I played for a half, and at the end, the coach said, I take it you're playing for your age group. And I was like, well, no. So they put me in contact with the over 45s, went to trials, and ended up going to South Africa. And just to echo what everyone else has been saying, the camaraderie is just absolutely incredible. You go out on the pitch, you play hard, you play to win, but afterwards, everyone is shaking hands. When we were playing South Africa, everyone was in the pool afterwards. Everyone was in the bar having a drink. So you play to win, but afterwards, everyone is having a great laugh. Everyone's singing together, dancing together. And I think I can say this for all of the players out there. No one wanted really to come home. You want to be able to do this day after day after day, just to play in an amazing squad with amazing people who all love hockey. There's no individual players out there. There's no egos. Everyone is pulling for the team, and it's just such a fantastic atmosphere to be involved with.
And I think camaraderie between goalkeepers
Did you say it's like a movement now? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. There's
Do you think it's would you say, Amy? Would you say it's a movement now, like a massive community within itself? Is Masters a community in its own entity now?
Definitely. It's we've got now, I think, 6 girls from our very small club that now play at their age level, which is brilliant. And it's great. And a lot of our club is quite young, so it's also nice to play with people my age and not feel like I'm an old biddy.
Okay, so what about the actual quality of the goalkeeping then? What can we expect from the standard of goalkeeping, Masters? Paul, what have you seen a really high standard of goalkeeping in competition?
Yeah, so from a 35s and 40s point of view, a lot of the goalkeepers are still sort of around National League level or top end of regional level. The quality that comes at you as well, it's not a case when you get to Masters, it'll be all people that can't run or can't hit a ball. It's quite the opposite. Actually, people have refined the skills and the gameplay. You don't get a lot of selfish play. You get a lot of team play. And you do have to acknowledge, you're a little bit older, so your gameplay comes into it a bit more. But from a goalkeeping point of view, I mean, some of the saves that you see, even from, this year we played Sri Lanka, who are very low down on the hockey spectrum. First time I've ever played them, and the goalkeeper was wearing kit that, honestly, some of our juniors have got better kit, but he never shied away from anything. I'll give him credit. Even the lower end clubs, the goalkeepers are so important to the game and to the whole tournament.
And Jerry, is it fair to say, as you go up the age groups, the quality of the hockey is still high, but the game just gets a touch slower? Is that a fair assessment, or?
Yeah, I think so. I certainly haven't noticed any decline as I get older in terms of the quality that's on show. Yes, it does get a little bit slower, but I think there's also a tendency for all players, the higher up they go, they want to prove that they can still mix with the younger players. I suppose at the end of the day, even 5 years makes quite a difference. We're talking about a 5-year bracket. So that does make a difference, and the game does slow down. But everybody's fit enough that they can still compete at that high level.
Do you think it's fair to say that one of the main motivations for many Masters players is almost proving something to themselves to see if they can actually go out there and do it?
I think there is probably an element of that. Most of the players, I think, have played at quite a high level, with the exception of myself. I didn't take up hockey until I was in my late 20s. So I missed the boat in terms of like my son at the moment, Scotland under 16s. That would never have happened when I was his age. So I think there is probably that we want to keep going. We want to play at a high level, and Masters at the moment is one way of doing that.
And McGuinness Jr. does look like a top goalkeeper. Worth saying, he looks outstanding.
Yes.
You must be very proud of him.
I am very proud. Lewis is a very good outfield player, but an exceptional goalkeeper. So he's been part of the under 16s for the last 3 years in Scotland. He just turned 16 last week.
Are you his coach, Jerry?
I do coach him, yes.
I tried coaching my son. It's having none of it. It's like, shut up. Yeah, that didn't work for me. So let's have a look then. So I'm also intrigued about the quality of the competition at trials. So I remember going to England 35's trials, there being about 4 or 5 goalkeepers. I would say I was a little bit languid on the day because I'm quite chatty, as you probably have guessed. Having a nice time being at the and I got told to be quiet about 4 times by the coach. But I just sensed for some people it's a really big deal. And I know many people that their whole season, like Masters, is almost more important than their club hockey because of what it means to them and the level of competition, and they look forward to it in the calendar. So when you go to trial, Nick, what was the level of competition like? And, for example, and I'll be really honest with you, in my younger days, I did struggle to have a really positive relationship with someone I was competing with. And I don't mind saying that now. And as an older player, that sounds really silly, but in my 20s, I don't think I particularly was friends with anyone that I really was competing with. I was quite a hard sort of win at all cost type approach. And I think as you get older, you soften a bit and you understand the world a bit better. But what's the general competition like, Nick, that you've come across?
The competition is high. I mean, we had 5 very, very good keepers at trials this year, and it could have been any of us who got picked for the squad. Fortunately, I was one of the 3 who was picked for it. But we all get on. We all support each other. We're all rooting for each other. And again, that's something which I found with Masters. Everyone is pulling for everyone else. There's no egos. It's not right. It's about me. I don't care how well you do or how well someone else does. Everyone wants everyone to do well, and everyone supports each other. And that's one of the amazing things I love about being part of this group. We've had 3 trials this year. The first trials, I went down as an outfield player, and I was then asked to come back for trials 2 and 3 as a goalkeeper. And I got picked as a goalkeeper. But the guys I was up against, they were very supportive. I was supportive of them. At the end of the day, we're all in. We want what's best for the team. So if that's someone else is a better keeper for me than me for the team, then that's what is needed for the team. I will always support the choice because ultimately, as I said, it's a team sport. We're all in this together, and we want what's best.
Wish I'd met you. I wish I'd met you in my younger years. That's just not how I thought at all. As a teenager, I was like
my outlook. I got injured. I played hockey since the age of 5. I got injured at 19 and was out of the game for 7 or 8 years because of it. And I missed out dramatically. And when I came back into playing it, it was, yes, competitive, but it's more about making sure you enjoy the game at all costs. As long as you do your best to support your team, then you can't do anything else. If you lose, as long as you've tried everything you can, you haven't given up, then that's the way it goes. But you've got to support yourself. You've got to support your team. And as a goalkeeper, if there's another goalkeeper ahead of you, then you've got to support them.
Can I just say, Nick loves a big dive as well. He loves the camera save, the big dive. Yeah, we had a good session in Swansea recently, didn't we, Nick?
And that's something else which I've seen again at Masters level, that at the 45s, the 50s, the 55s, even at the 60s I've watched, the keepers are still agile. They're still putting their bodies on their lives. They're still making the dives. They're still getting in the way. The agility, the flexibility is still there. And it's fantastic to see. Yes, we're all a little bit tighter. We're all a little bit, it aches a little bit more in the morning. The ice baths are very needed after all the games. But there's still that commitment. There's still that agility. There's still that flexibility, which is amazing to see as you go up through the age groups.
Can I just ask everyone a question? Do we play differently now as goalkeepers, being slightly older, than we did in our younger days? I know because I played in a Masters game recently. I've not played for quite a long time. And I just don't think I played anything like I would have done. I just was a bit more... obviously, as you get older, you know more, you're more knowledgeable. And I was a little bit flamboyant when I was playing, loved diving around the place. And that sort of thing, which is great. And now I coach, I think, what was I doing? But I think I didn't play like that at all when I played recently. I wondered how, as we got a bit older, whether our game has had to change and adapt.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more controlled now, to be honest. When you get to this level, because you've been playing personally, I've been playing for 25 years. It's all right diving around, but you got to get back up again. When you get a bit older, a little bit harder, it's a little bit slower. So you tend to be a little bit of a bigger keeper. Don't get me wrong, the dives are there and everyone loves a big diving save, but I think you appreciate the more basic saves and how important they are. doing the right thing as opposed to doing what's better for the cameras.
I also call the game more now. I'm way better than I ever did when I was younger. It's all about talking to the players so that I don't have to see the ball and do a big dive.
Yeah, and also that's knowledge, isn't it? Like with the experience you gain, you understand people's roles more, and then if you've got a better knowledge of defenders, you can call them into the right place. Whereas when you're younger, I remember, if you think now, kids who go into adult hockey and they've got to play for the men's or ladies' fifth team in their first year of adult hockey, and they're expected to call a defender who's been playing the game longer than they've been alive. It's quite a daunting thing when you're younger. And on the flip side, as you get older, you get more knowledge. And I think the calling part, we all know that communication part is massively important. And I think older goalkeepers put more value in that as well. Actually take pride in the ball not even getting through. And younger keepers or sometimes they want the action. What's your view on that, Jerry, with communication? You feel like you obviously know more now, but do you call more now than you used to?
Yes, I think I probably do. I talk a lot more, give instruction a lot more. At club level, I've got quite an old back three. So they tend to wander a little bit. and if Andy and Larry's on this call watching, sorry guys. But yeah, I do tend to speak a lot more and give instruction a lot more. And what Paul says, I tend to stand up a lot more now. I used to dive about like an idiot when I was younger. I tend to straddle a bit more rather than dive. But and that's something we now teach the younger kids as well.
Yeah, we know now that actually, technically speaking, the better goalkeepers don't have to dive quite so much because their footwork and their balance. And if you watch Ollie Payne, for example, his basics are so good that you don't often see him have to hurl himself around too much because he's actually really good at lunging and stepping and covering the goal with good footwork. And every goal has got their style and that sort of thing. But I personally always love to see that goalkeeper that's on their feet and just making that good first quality, good contact. And often that comes from staying on your feet and being mobile. And we said on our last call, actually, if you look at Maddie Hinch, even in her career, if you look at Maddie Hinch in Rio, when she was smothering and sliding and just getting out to everybody indoor style because she was so fast. And then Maddie in the last Olympics was two different goalkeepers. She was on her feet, staying back on the goal line. You can see she's deliberately not getting involved in things. And Mark Hickman actually said to me, well, actually the game has moved on a long time in that frame of time. The game has moved on. The ball around the D is in the air more than ever. It's aerialed into the D. There's 3D skills. The level of skills now with the ball off the ground at the top level is pretty insane. So as the game moves on, the goalkeeper needs to as well, just adapt with it.
Yeah. I think when we were growing up, sort of a lot younger, you sort of went at the save a lot more. I think nowadays you've got to wait for the save. You've really got to, because there's so much happening in front of you. The Ds are a lot busier than when we were younger. It used to be get your shot off top of the D, a little bit inside the D, get your shot. Now you'll notice they do get that if they've got the space, but a lot of the players at all levels, all the way through, is you're looking for touches, you're looking for a number of players in the D. And from a keeping point of view, you've got to be aware of so much more nowadays. And I think the biggest one for me that I've probably learned over the time is waiting for the save, which when balls are going at 80 mile an hour and stuff like that, yeah, it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of training your mind to actually go, I'm not just going to jump at it, I'm going to wait, I'm going to make the save right. I think, again, experience comes into that.
Yeah, this is training. That's why something like a catch it is really good, because the catch it just gives you that slightly unpredictable flight of the ball, and that means you have to basically be balanced in order to wait and then save it late. I love to use the catch it. I know Jimmy Lewis uses it a lot with the hand feeding, and I brought a bit of that into my coaching. And the better, as you say, if the better the goalkeeper can wait and watch the ball and trust themselves to save it late, that's for me, that's a sign of a top goalkeeper. And as you say, not just impulsively saying, well, there's the ball and going hard at it. And if you look at the top level now, there's so much going on around the goalkeeper. If you look at the Mazzarello save recently at the Pro League, that is an unbelievable save that had me out of my chair. Like, woo! I've watched it about 30 times because it's not just the shot, it's the busyness around him, it's the player in front actually getting the touch. And the fact that didn't just hit him, his hands actually moved to make that save in a space of about a metre. It's pretty phenomenal, actually, if you break it down.
Yeah. I think the two British keepers we've got now are potentially two of the best in the world at their age and can only get better.
And they're both early 20s. They're both going to be there for ever. Everyone else must be a bit like, oh.
And to see them up close and see what they're actually about, I think, yeah, keepers coming through have got to be looking at that and going, that's what we're aiming for. And that's all countries now. I think you can look at the GB keepers, which, we've probably been a bit light on keepers, if I'm honest, over the last sort of 10, 15 years, if you look at the depth of keepers. But now you've got two. I mean, you've got under 21 keepers that are unreal as well coming through. It's become a real key area of British hockey, I think, goalkeeping.
And the men's, there's actually, there's obviously Toby is number 3 as well. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. Watched him loads. We already mentioned Tommy, who knows a top class goalkeeper playing in Germany. He's not in the system, but he's in the UK. And the women's is a bit different, isn't it? The women's is almost like a new phase after Maddie that's starting now, and they're probably now looking for who that next number one's going to be. And it looks like a bit of a 2 or 3 way battle, really. But that's really interesting to watch that unfold in the next year or so and see who really steps up for it. And we've got, as Jerry's on the call, I always say Amy Gibson, one of my favourite goalkeepers. It is just so good and underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of sharing a pitch with Amy last year through in Edinburgh when we were training. There's actually quite a few very good female goalkeepers in Scotland at the moment. There's another young lady, Jess Buchanan.
I've heard about her, yeah.
Part of the Scotland squad. She's an exceptional goalkeeper. And then we've got a few younger goalkeepers just under the radar. Cara McAllister, who's at Clydesdale Western, is now in the 21s. Emma O'Neill's in the 21s. So yeah, we've actually got some really talented youngsters coming through in Scotland at the moment.
So Martyrs Hockey then, what is coming up next in big events? What does the summer look like in Martyrs Hockey? Who's got anything big on?
Depends what you mean by big. Everything's
competitions, events. I know Jerry likes any chance to add to his medal collection is good for him.
I'm over in Belfast next week.
Belfast.
Yeah, Home Nations in Belfast.
Was that Queen's?
Week. It is, yes.
Lovely venue, that.
Yep. I haven't been there before. The last time it was Lisnagarvey. So, so I'm quite looking forward to that. We go over next Friday.
Well, I can tell you, I played in the European Under-18s final against Holland in 1999 there. So that's quite a long time ago. I'm sure it's different now. I think it's a blue pitch now, isn't it? Is it blue?
It is blue, yes.
Love a blue pitch. Okay. And then, Nick, what's coming up next for your age group?
Home Nations at the beginning of June, and then down in Southgate, and then at the end of June, running into July, we've got the Euros at Nottingham at Beeston.
Again,
so I'll be again, yes. Well, it's that, and then next year we're off to Auckland, so it can't be too bad. South Africa.
Here's a question for you, Nick. Where would you rather play a home match, Beeston or Southgate? Putting you on the spot here.
I haven't played at Southgate, so no, I've been up to Nottingham. I was up at Nottingham last year doing some coaching with Simon Mason, and watching the girls playing in the World Cup out there. My daughter's at university at Nottingham, so I've been up there, and it's a lovely pitch. It's a lovely place to play hockey. So it'd be interesting to see what Southgate's like.
Southgate's my favourite venue to play. Just that's why I asked. Yeah, very nice. And Amy, what's coming up for you next?
So we've got Home Nations in the beginning of June in Swansea, which is nice, and then our Euros are in Nottingham again. Third year in a
Weather's better for you.
Yeah.
When I was with Nick in Swansea recently, we had the worst weather. It was biblical, wasn't it, Nick? It literally,
It was.
the hail were like ping pong balls, and they were coming in sideways. It actually
You'll
hurt.
either sunburn or you'll get hail. There's nothing in between.
Well, Amy was with us at the beginning of the year when we had the coaching course down there, and the weather was awful then, but it was even worse. Every time I go to Swansea for one of these goalkeeping courses, the weather is just biblical.
It was pretty dramatic.
Welcome to every weekend when I play hockey.
I know we've got a few people online tonight who have just been selected for Masters. So have we got any advice for people? I know actually a few of them actually said to me they're actually quite nervous. It's a big, as you say, it's a big thing. It's the new for them. So if you think back to your first time doing it, have we got any really good tips or advice for people going into that setup?
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is hockey after all. And the biggest thing you'll have is imposter syndrome. I think I've only just got rid of my imposter syndrome. And it's, just enjoy it, make friends, don't worry about it. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to die. It's fine.
Good advice. What about any technical advice? Because I think sometimes we've got all these lovely experienced goalkeepers together. Would be really good for people to hear something that's substantial they can take with them.
Don't try too hard. Just be yourself. Be natural. Do what you would normally do if you're playing at club hockey. I think the first time I went to trials, I tried to really impress. And the more I tried to impress, the worse it became. And I let 2 or 3 go between my pads. So yeah, I would say relax into it, get a good warm up, make sure you're fit or as fit as you can be, and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think spend the time. The biggest thing. So my first year when I did it, the year after UK, I had Ian Jennings was my coach.
I timed that well.
Now those of you that know Jenno, it is detailed, and the amount I learned that. Oh yeah, I've never been as fit in my life. I had no choice in the matter. But the thing that got me the most was the amount of time. Even though you're only getting together sort of every 3 weekends, for example, the amount of time you spend together learning tactics, learning each other, learning the way that everybody plays. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I would be, is just take your time to understand everybody's role within the structure, everybody's role within the tactics, and everybody's role within the social side as well. I know it sounds whatever, but there's so many different characters in there. You get your quiet ones, your loud ones, your jokers. It's like a classroom. And just
that's a good point. The social's good because it's not really about having a beer for me. It's actually, even at club level, I say to everyone, you've got to stay for at least one drink. And it's not really about the drink. It's about that feeling of where everyone's together. We're buying into each other. We're getting to know each other off the pitch as people. And I really believe that those strong relationships off the pitch, they do somehow creep into games. And when you really feel in part of a tight unit, it just makes you do that extra bit. And in those really tight games where you need to win or it's pressure, I really think that gives you like an extra 5-10% when you really feel you're in a group where anyone will do anyone for anything. And it just really, it does go a long way for me.
Definitely.
Can I just ask about, I've missed something off my list. I've got short corners, penalty corners at Masters level. What kind of things are we seeing? And I'm imagining, I know when I play Masters, Gareth Andrew is still playing and Titch Hanspall, and there are players there that are playing National League who could drag flick and the skills were high level. Are we seeing specialists at Masters level? Are we seeing corner hitters and drag flickers and people that can really put you under pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
we get them all. I think as you get a little bit older, maybe towards the 55, 60s, then they will try and play the ball around the goalkeeper. But even at the moment, with the over 50s, there's a lot of good drag flickers, a lot of good hitters out there. And it keeps you on your toes, because you then need to think, is he shooting? Is he flicking? Is he passing it? Is it a 1-2? Is it a slip left? It's you need to be organised.
Yeah.
A lot of forwards diving around to get that dink in as well. They're not afraid.
No, not at all.
I know someone just mentioned it's a great feeling wearing your country's shirt, and how does that feel for you? Can you think back to the first time you put that shirt on? That must be a really proud moment for you.
It's incredible. It was one of the proudest moments of my life, being able to put on the Wales shirt. My grandfather played for Wales, my father played for Wales, and being able to follow in their footsteps and stand there with that shirt on was just, there's no feeling like it. And every time I get together with the guys and we play, putting on that shirt is just a huge privilege and a huge honour to be able to do it. And I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world.
Yeah.
It's incredible when you stand there, you know yourself, and they're playing your national anthem and you're lining up against the opposition in a stadium. And Paul will back me up when I say this. Rotterdam in 2019, in front of all that crowd that was standing, there's nothing like it. There really isn't. It's an honour and a privilege to wear the shirt.
Yeah, you get to play in some amazing venues to start with. You get to wear the shirt, which, I mean, that's the pinnacle, isn't it? When you play, or whatever sport you play, you want to get to the top of that, whether that be England or GB or Scotland, Wales. And like you say, to put it on, and then to have the emotion that comes through, and then you've got to control that emotion, and it becomes, it's a memory that you'll never forget. The first time you wear that shirt and you have that, the first time you get a cap, because you play your friendly games before, and you get, I mean, for me, the first time was when you got your kit. First time you get your socks, your shorts, your t-shirt, your tops, to all go out as a full team in that kit is amazing. You just feel on top of the world. You really do.
Yeah, it's special, definitely. Like I say, when you set out as a youngster, you really want to get into those England teams, and that's everyone's dream. And actually, for the amount of people who play hockey, such a few number of people actually get that as a youngster. So I think it's given a lot of people almost like a second chance of being involved and reaching that level of achievement. And I just think wearing the England shirt, or wearing the national shirt rather, is just such a big thing. It's also it's almost like a family commitment, because it is extremely time consuming across all the training weekends and everything. So you need a very accommodating other half or family, because I definitely found it tough going at times to juggle everything around.
I think that's when the 35s and the 40s find it the hardest, because they tend to have younger families. We find with a lot of the girls, they struggle with that commitment because, they've got little kids. I'm lucky, I just got a dog. He gets carted everywhere. But that's where we struggle when it comes to kind of recruitment, is people being able to give up the time, give up their family holiday time. So, yeah.
Is it different for men or women generally? Do you think it's much harder for women to do that, or what do you think, Amy?
It's hard when you've got someone that plays for the women's 35s and the husband plays for the men's 35s. That's difficult, unless the tournament's together. But I think it can be a bit different. It depends as well. If someone's just come back from having a baby, that's fitness, confidence, all that kind of thing. It is different, and unless you've got a very understanding partner, it is hard. Yeah.
Okay. Just have a quick look at hockey now, the world hockey scene now. I just think hockey is in such a good place in terms of a spectacle. I really enjoy it, and it's easy for me to say, being a hockey man. I love hockey and always have done. But I've got friends who don't play hockey, and now they'll happily tune in and watch a game. I think it's I liken it to basketball, where it's just fast, end to end, entertaining. And if you're not a hockey player, you can certainly appreciate the skill level and what's involved in just watching a random game.
Well, I came from football. I didn't take up hockey till I was in my late 20s, 28, 29. And if someone had said to me before then, you're going to start playing hockey, I would have laughed at them. My only regret is that I didn't play hockey when I was in my teens. Because for me, it's the best sport I've ever done. And I've done a lot of sports, but it's the most enjoyable and one of the fastest sports I think I've ever done.
Mm. Yeah, and then goalkeeping wise, if you look around the world now, I don't know, you might not be quite as geeky as me. I think Jerry probably is. But which goalkeepers do we like to watch, and which goalkeepers do we think have got amazing futures ahead of them?
Well, I'll come back to my comment earlier. GB keepers, I honestly think they are going to be world beaters. I think that'll be a key reason. I like the Dutch keepers as well. Always loved Dutch keepers. I just think the way they do it, the way they control, but they're still extravagant with it. I think Dutch keeping still has an extravagance about it for me. I think
they just tend to pick, the Dutch men especially, just seem to pick massive personalities.
Yeah.
Who have that, like going right back when I was a kid, I used to love Ronald Jansen. Who had no arm pads on, and he was a complete lunatic. And I just if you look back, like Permin Blanc, like I met him. He is a huge man, and his personality walks through the room before he does. He's just such a massive character, and I imagine in real pressure situations, like he has got unwavering self-belief. And actually, I like him. But I think Alex Stadler, the German lad, is brilliant as well. He's very, very Ollie Payne like with his technique and style. You know, doesn't do anything rash. Like you never see Ollie Payne rush out and not get the ball, or he's very much kind of like stay in the goal, stay in contention, stay on my feet. He makes the forwards do stuff. He doesn't really very often make the mind up for them by doing something rash. And you sometimes see that with some keepers. You're right, though. GB goalkeeping, especially in the men's section, is in a really, really healthy position for the next decade at least. Those two are, I'd always thought, I think Ollie Payne and Maz, Ollie Payne has always had a lot of the game time, but I know in Pro League they've been sharing it, and you can see why. Because sometimes if you just have an out-and-out number one and only play number one, when that number one retires or is not there or gets injured, it can look a bit thin on the ground when you haven't got an experienced number two with there. And without Maddie, I just think GB women look a different team without Maddie Hinch in goal. Have they given enough exposure to the other goalkeepers? I'm not sure. Looking in hindsight, it looks like they probably could have actually developed a number two a bit more over time, in my opinion. But having a strong character back there that's confident is just so key, isn't it? And the nice thing about those GB lads that they're really humble boys. There's nothing big-headed about them, either of them. They're fantastic lads. So that's great. And what about in the Masters scene? Is there anyone that's outstandingly eye-catchingly good?
Paul?
Apart from the guys on this call, of course.
One keeper that stood out for me throughout mine is a German keeper, a guy called Kenny Guy. He's not playing this year, but I'm the same age as him, and he's always stood out as a very, very good keeper.
Mm. And is there definitely, can you see goalkeeping styles even at master level? Can you see the goalkeepers? You can see how they've been coached and how they play.
Yeah,
the German keepers often have their hands in that very weird out in front position, and Spanish keepers just love sliding and diving around like Kiko Cortez used to, which I love. Cortez, one of my favorite goalkeepers ever, but he could either be amazing or have a day to forget. So can you see that? Have you seen that, Jerry, at Masters, the actual style of the goalkeepers?
Yes, yeah, it is quite noticeable. I'm quite I'm quite friendly with one or two of the Dutch goalkeepers, and they're very tall. You know, they're 6'12" or 6'10" or whatever it is. Hit the crossbar as they go into the goals, but still very very easy, very very pleasing on the eye in terms of they're very smooth in the way they move across the goals and the way they do the splits or the way they dive. I think the way in which Masters goalkeepers have sort of got together, I think it's just exceptional. I mean, I think I've never come across a poor goalkeeper at Masters, genuinely.
Yeah, and you wouldn't, would you? Because that it's still
It's
even
such
at
a
trial,
high,
even at trial level, it's really competitive. So to get picked in the squad at any, whether you're whatever country you play for, I'm sure now it's very sought after. Dozens of people want to be in goal for that age group.
absolutely.
And it's a great achievement.
I'm very lucky. I've over the last sort of 4 or 5 years managed to share the goalkeeping with the Masters with a very good friend of mine, and Blackie, Robert Black, is very well known in Masters. He's very loud, but the two of us bounce off each other. His technique is completely different to mine. The way we play the game is completely different to each other, but the end is still the same.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. And then, what about the coaching? So, are you guys involved in coaching now? And do you coach your own thoughts on goalkeeping, or do you coach how you perceive to be the right way to coach? Like, what you guys doing now in terms of coaching? We know Joey's got his own goalkeeping academy, which looks enormous. 20 odd goalkeepers.
I am leading the goalkeeper coach in there, but I've got some fabulous other coaches with us. But we've got 25 goalkeepers now, aged between 10 and 17.
Fantastic.
So I think I probably have my own sort of ways of coaching, but I'm very big on learning off other goalkeeper coaches. So I do spend a lot of time watching what other goalkeeper coaches do. I watch a lot of your stuff as well, Keir, just to use that. And one of the things I'll always say to my goalkeepers is that take what you can from all the coaches that you work with, take the bits out of it that you think suit you, and then mold yourself into the type of goalkeeper you want to be.
Just quickly, I'll just park that for a second. I've got a really great question coming here from Dave Snell. He says, aside from the physical skills, is there anything you can focus on for the mental side or decision making? So we're talking about the mental approach, resilience, preparation, managing emotions within the game. Any big tips there, Amy?
Yeah, I would say that when it's happened, and whether it's good or bad, you just got to learn from it. You can't beat yourself up or let your head drop or anything like that, because that doesn't just affect you, it affects your team if they see your head drop. I always try and think if I've let go in, whether if it's a great goal, I'll celebrate that forward for a great goal. I'll be like, well done, you did a great one there. But if there's something I think I could have done better, I'm like, right, what could I have done better in that situation? So I learn from it and don't,
It's also when, isn't it? You're right, Amy, but it's when, like there and then, in the moment. That's not the time to review it.
No,
you've almost got to park it.
Yeah,
mentally move on, reset, and whether that means like Maddie Hinch, you see her and she's talked about going behind the goal, having a drink.
You've got to find what fits with
you.
Normally mine's a swear word, and then I reset.
Yeah. Reviewing it, maybe not always there and then, because that's not always a good thing with the game. Resetting your mind. And I talk to kids about having like a mental reset all the time about, if a goal goes in, like we do at corners, we have a little process, a little system. The system at corners is what gives you consistency. If you use that same mechanism every single corner, your outcome will become more consistent. So same number of steps. Are you looking at the ejector? Are you looking straight ahead? Same number of steps, same speed, same set position. If you create a little system, any system or process brings consistency. So exactly the same when you let a goal in. You know, I have been telling all my junior goalkeepers, let's have a little mental reset. Let's wipe the slate clean and go again. And I often talk about going behind the goal, taking a helmet off, having a drink, and then when you come back in, you're pretty much starting from 0-0 again. And just little things like that, which they all add. All these little things add like 1 or 2%. And then when you accumulate these 1 or 2%, you end up with like 10 or plus % more than you had before. So I think that's really important. Dave Snell, good question, by the way. So anyone else got anything on mental resets or that sort of stuff? Paul?
Yeah, I think for me that there's something that I've read. I can't remember who wrote it. It's called "Make the Next Save." It's football based, but the principle behind it is it comes on to anything. But essentially, whatever you've done, make the next save. As soon as you make that next save, you're back to your point of where you want to be.
I like that, actually.
I always teach, just make the next one. Whatever's happened, make the next one.
I'm having that. I'm stealing that.
I've also banned my team from saying the word clean sheet. That's absolutely mental, blows my mind. My don't say it to me. It's awful.
Thing is, that's such a football thing. Like, clean sheets in hockey are really, really hard to get because there's no offside and it's end to end. And if you look through the scores for the entire season, you won't see many 8 or 9 nils. You'll see 8-2, 9-1, 7-1. You know, my team just got promoted. We won 21 games out of 22. But most of our high-scoring games were conceding 1 or 2 because we just, you know, rightfully or wrongfully, we just went for it. And, you know, and actually that does sometimes leave you a bit open to the odd counter or whatever. But clean sheets in hockey are not quite like football, I don't think. They're much, much harder to get. Agree?
Absolutely.
Completely agree.
At least that's what I tell my defenders.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, but up on clean sheets, I think mentally, coming back to Snelly's question there, I think mentally, if you get caught up on a clean sheet, you let one in, which the chances of actually letting one in are quite high, really, in any game, then that's a massive negative as well. If you're setting yourself to go, got to get a clean sheet, got to get a clean sheet.
Yeah, because there's too many moving parts. Like for a clean sheet to happen, that involves so many things that are out of your control. That involves umpiring. That involves them not hitting a worldy shot. It involves defenders marking properly. You've got to play well yourself. There's just too many moving parts. I personally think that's a false objective. Like it's a dream objective in a way because I just think any objective should be controllable. And it's got to be down to what you contribute to the team. And although we all want a clean sheet, but when you break it down, like probably 50% of a clean sheet isn't down to you. So actually, if you can't control it, and it's probably not a good objective or target.
And it's not easy to if you can see the goal, it's not the easiest thing in the world to go, what did I do wrong? And I'm very geeky about it because I have 2 GoPros behind the goals, so I video every game I play in and a lot of my training sessions. So if I make a mistake, if a goal goes in, I'm like, right, just carry on, you know, make the next save. And then after the game, a couple of hours later when I'm editing the video, then I'll analyse it and then I'll think about, could I have done better? What happened there? Because I've got the ability to look at it. I can't do that in a game because if I'm there in the game going, did I go there? Did I go there? Then I'm not focusing on what's happening in front of me. My mind is not where it needs to be. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to be able to just go, right, forget about that, move on. It takes a mental, you need to be able to mentally train yourself to just move on, think about it later. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. You can't step back in time. You can't change what's just happened. Just got to carry on. And if you want to think about it after the final whistle. Just don't get caught up in the moment there and then.
Nick, you are an Olympic level badger.
Well,
GoPros,
I've-
constant training. I love it. I love it. I mean, I'm like that as well, but it's great. It's great.
I've got to the point now where I'm providing the our coach with all the highlights, all the short corner routines, and everything from our opponents we're playing at prior to our games, so we can analyse what they do on defence, what they do on attack. So anything we can get to give that extra edge.
Absolutely. We've been talking for 1 hour and 9 minutes. Does not feel like that long. Wow. Just want to say, guys, before we finish off, this has been very enjoyable. I've really enjoyed it. And I think Masters Hockey is now just such a big thing. You know, we've actually had 59 people online tonight following us live. So that's fantastic. And we often get lots of people watch it the day after on replay as well. So you can watch it live, not live, you can watch it on replay on the Hero Facebook page. I just wanted to say, Masters Hockey, it's almost like it's fashionable and it's trendy and it's very current. Do you ever see Masters Hockey failing off and becoming like a little bit forgotten about or less important?
This thing's
Not
getting bigger
anytime
and
soon.
bigger.
I think it'll get bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think hockey will get bigger as long as it's governed in the right way, and as long as we try not to make it an elitist sport, which I think has been one of the downsides of hockey in the past. We've moved away from that now, particularly in Scotland. So I think it will continue to grow.
Yeah, and also I know lots of clubs are now trying. Well, first of all, if you've ever played for a club who have not got enough goalkeepers, like that's not a lot of fun. When keepers have to double up, you know, teams putting people in goal who aren't goalies, and that sort of thing.
So I end up in goal.
Really?
Yeah, I was the one that would do it.
Yeah. But now clubs are being a bit more thoughtful. Now, where I play, you know, clubs are helping families buy goalie kit. They're making sure the club kits are not your standard, you know, knackered monarch that's 20 years old. And they're trying to make sure that kids who they want to play as goal are going to have good kit that's going to give them confidence and keep them safe.
And there's more and more grants out there for clubs to be able to do that as well, that may not be able to afford to. We've done it. We've got a grant to get a junior kid so we can start getting juniors into being in goal, because they're incredible at it, but no one really wants to do it.
Yeah, and also the goalie kit it's obscenely expensive. You know, and certain brands are ridiculously obscenely expensive, and other brands are way more accommodating and reasonable. I would say that, and you know, we don't want to push any brand in particular, but yes, it's just like if you think for a family, and I met a woman this week. She's got 3 children who are all goalkeepers, and her club don't give any support. So she's buying 3 goalie kits, 3 memberships, 3 match fees, and unbelievably, the club don't give her any discount, nothing. Like I thought that was shocking.
That's really bad.
Really bad. And I won't name and shame because I was tempted, but I won't. But that's really not on. And you know, hockey clubs need goalkeepers at all levels, and it's the clubs and coaches' job to make sure those goalkeepers get the right kit and the right confidence and the right training. And that's not a plug for Hero because I haven't got any more time at the moment. But you really, 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 you know, if you've a goalie with a club with a goalie coach and a dedicated goalie session, that's fantastic. But I would guess that is a massive minority, even now, and even after Matty Hinch making goalkeeping cool and trendy and current. You know, I still think goalkeepers are not looked after as well as they should be at a lot, not all, a lot of clubs. Who's come on? And Paul Hatton, by the way. Paul Hatton is our latest Hero Goalie coach. Paul, we welcome on board.
Thank you very much. So anyone in Yorkshire, we will be
Nicely done there, Paul. See what you've done there.
Sure.
We're
Lead
opening
on.
in August. We'll be kicking off our Hero Yorkshire weekly sessions with Paul, and that's fantastic. We've already had about 13 emails in about 3 weeks about that, so that no doubt that's going to be a hit. Quickly, guys, I know we're rambling on. What is hockey goalkeeping like at your clubs, and are the goalkeepers well looked after?
Yeah, so Doncaster. So the coaching is going to improve a lot next year, obviously because I can't play. So a lot more time will go into goalkeepers. But kit-wise, we do try and keep our kit up to date, and we do try and look after keepers from a senior point of view. There's reduction in subs on the proviso of purchasing kit, just to try and help out a little bit as well. So it's a little bit, but it goes a long way for a goalkeeper.
I know Uddy sounds like the Rolls Royce of hockey clubs with Jerry's goalkeeping academy and their lovely setup.
We take quite a bit of care with the goalkeepers. Some of them come into the goalkeeper academy with school equipment, and I'm afraid it's a bugbear of mine because the school equipment tends to have screws hanging off the helmet, and the cage doesn't sit right, or there's no abdo guard under the shorts. So we are actually quite strict about the kit. We have some spare kit ourselves, which we've managed to make up. And we've got lots of toys, crazy catches, ball machines, rebound boards, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we don't just do it for Uddingston Hockey Club, though. We provide the services for all the clubs in West Central Scotland. So all the goalkeepers that come to us all play for Hillhead, GHK, Clydesdale, Western Wildcats, all over. In fact, we even get people coming from the other side of the country now, from Edinburgh.
Fantastic.
Which is quite a trek for them on a Sunday morning.
And I'll be there soon.
You will indeed. Looking forward to it.
Definitely looking forward to it. And Amy, at Swansea, are you involved, or is there goalkeeper provision?
Well, I actually play for Gowton, which is in Swansea. Right. And the goalkeepers are definitely better looked after now because I'm chairman. So
you're a chair lady, are you? Right.
Yeah. So, but we've only just started a seconds team, and we've just started doing some junior stuff as well. So we're kind of developing. But we've always had a volunteer who's helped coach me a bit just to get me through to do drills with me when we're doing other stuff. But to be honest, until last year, we didn't even have an outfield coach. So we're definitely coming along nicely.
And that's fine because there's so many clubs like that, isn't there? With limited resources, some small membership, but I imagine it's a cozy, fun, tight-knit club.
Grassroots.
Yeah, great. Very important. Nick, are you involved or?
Well, there's only one team at the club I play at. There's myself, who's the keeper, and we've got another guy who plays in goal, who was the one who got injured last year, and I took over from him. He plays centre-back as well. As far as kit goes, the club, when I went to play in goal, when I first stepped in, there was a pair of ice hockey shorts, which were like extra large pads, large kickers. Everything was for previous keepers, which were large and extra large. And I'm quite a small keeper, so I
medium size, Nick, medium size.
I ended up purchasing my own kit off eBay, secondhand kickers, secondhand pads, gloves, everything. Just so, and I found a difference by getting my own kit in the right size. The mobility was just so much better. I felt so much more agile.
Such a problem, isn't it, with your youngsters? Kit that doesn't fit and kicker straps. My bugbear: kicker straps that aren't done properly, or the old buckles. Oh yeah, not a lot of fun.
So what's the club did get some stuff for themselves on my recommendation. It was a case of, in order to be comfortable playing in goal, I purchased my own kit.
Very important, I guess, especially the youngsters. Confidence is massive, isn't it? And we all like. The older you get, you just like new kit. You like nice kit, don't you? And I like to go and just, I'm proper geeky, and I'm not quite at Nick's level, but that's something else. I'd like to say thank you to you all for tonight. It's been fantastic. Time has gone so quickly. An hour and 20 minutes of just badgering and geekiness. It's been fantastic, and we'll definitely do it again. If you've tuned in tonight to watch, thank you very much for joining us. Special guests, you've all been fantastic. Amy, Jerry, Paul, and Nick, thank you very much indeed. And guys, I will see you all very soon. Take care.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Take care, guys.